so scary. It's
horrible.
so much scarier when it happens in a toilet that isn't yours.
Oh, dude, that's happened before. It's terrible.
Same.
I'm serious. You can put it hot, Jordan.
I think it's been.
There aren't many fears in life worse than seeing the water rise at a house or a place that isn't yours.
Oh, it gets right to that edge, like the meniscus of your toilet.
And
like, all right, I gotta step back. I gotta wait for it to settle a little bit so I can get the plunger in there. I need a coat hanger to break up my mess.
But if it doesn't settle and it just starts coming over the bowl, oh my God.
It's tricky. I feel like plungers need like bayonets on the end to like get in there and do some work.
That's actually not a bad idea.
I know. Just something like folds down so it's not always up, but when you need it and you got to get down in there.
I haven't run into that problem in, a lot. I couldn't remember the last time, but I do remember I was at the Poconos with somebody.
Wait, you saying you can't remember the last time you clogged the crapper?
Yeah, I'm very careful about that, man.
Ooh,
like I said, there are risks I'm risk averse when it comes to a clog, So if I have to go in for a 3 flush, I'll do that to save myself the fear. No,
I hate doing it.
You'll just run the risk?
Well, it depends. If I don't know the toilet, then I'm going to run the risk. If I know the toilet, like I've got one here that's pretty shallow, like you can't give it the full business or it's going to be an issue. On that one, I'll let it all out, flush, and then just hang out for a bit longer.
Wait, if it's at a place that isn't yours and like, let's say you're like Dumb and Dumber style, right? Okay. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Harry Dunn. And you, of course, you don't know the scenario. You are going to take the risk or you're going to be careful.
So in that scenario, I think it's much easier to just let it sail and not care because I assume there's not a lot of solid mass in that one.
No.
The clog problem comes from what is generally speaking a pretty good BM. If you're just making like if there's a full on explosion on the launch pad, then you're probably not clogging the toilet.
I think it comes from an overuse of the TP, like a heavy half roller.
Yeah, but you'll know that at that time.
Right. But that's why
when you get to the point where you're like, if I use another one of these, this thing is going to get stopped up because that water's starting to look like concrete.
Right. Like the car bomb drink where if you don't drink it right away,
when it curdles.
It curdles. Yeah, when you start hitting the curdle, you're like, all right, we got to go. Oh, hey guys, what's going on? How you doing?
Hi, Yahoo.
How you doing? Welcome. Listen, it's the last show of the regular season. It's truly one of the most I don't think there's a better way to start this show than what we just did. Completely spontaneous, but happy to have you guys with us. Hit that thumbs up. And it's funny, man. People could come in here and say, what are you guys talking about? Those people are the worst because everyone relates. Anyone that sits here and says, I don't relate to what these guys are saying, or they shouldn't be saying it here, where else are we going to say it?
I mean, maybe not everybody, but like it should be like 99% of everybody.
You don't think everyone at some point has run into that dilemma?
I don't know. What if they have a colostomy bag?
Oh, well, sure.
Just saying, man, there's somebody out there that doesn't agree with it every time you say something. So apologies to all of the people that don't have full use of their colon.
You still got to dump that bag, though.
I don't know how that works.
Me neither. That's actually something that I'm not getting into. No, we're not doing that. Anyway, Jordan asked us to open the show with this conversation because he thought it was interesting. But we're happy to have you guys with us. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't left yet. And subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. I mean, where else would you rather be? 75,400 subscribers. Hold on a second. Oh, Dan Kelly. Yeah. Being a landlord. That's not, that's tough. That's tough. Yeah. But anyway, we have 11 games in the main slate. There's 15 total games today. The problem isn't the problem isn't just, no problem. The issue is not that we have 11 games and it's the last day of the season. I think the biggest problem is the fact that so many of these teams are on back-to-backs with no injury reports. Yeah. And it's very, very possible, almost, I would say likely in a lot of situations, that they just rest all of their starters.
Yep. It's going to be tricky. A couple of these games are basically going to just be full write-offs for this show. Not that we don't want to do the work or anything. It's just impossible to talk about. And you're going to get 2 more hours of content later today in the Deeper Dive and Live Before Lock to actually outline what's going to happen once we get this news. It's not going to get us anywhere to speculate if 140 of their normal minutes aren't available today. So for some of these, we just have to be like, there's nothing we can say. Pay attention later.
Dude, just read Jordan's comment and read Jordan's comment. And if you're a podcast listener, happy to have you with us. I'll have Josh read this comment out loud for us.
If you stuff up a toilet at a girl's crib you just met, and she doesn't have a plunger, are you sticking your hand in there to unclog it? Well, 2 things. One, I think about that video or audio of the girl that like pooped at her boyfriend's place or whatever, but clogged the toilet. So she took it out with her hand and threw it in her boyfriend's cat litter box.
I saw that on Reddit, and I think it's fake personally.
I don't know, but apparently the cat was dead. So anyway, it's not important. That's hilarious.
Yeah, cats also don't drop 10-inch dumps.
Well, she's probably not bright. But the second part of this is for the first bit that I was dating what is now my wife, they lived in a house that had 1 bathroom, but the bathroom for some strange reason was like in someone else's bedroom. It wasn't like an ensuite. It's just like the way that the doors worked in this old house. So I very, very, very rarely, and this is back in the time where I had 15 PBRs and a pizza and wings. Like, yeah, you're making a mess the night
it's
after.
It's hard to control. Before. Yeah.
So I would just leave and go to the gas station.
Wait, you'd rather go to the gas station
than do what I knew that I had to do for a girl that I had basically just met, first 2 months, 3 months, 4 months of knowing her. Gas station was, quarter mile away. I was like, all right, I got to go get a Gatorade. Meanwhile, I'm got to get there as fast as possible.
Bro, you must have known you were going to marry her when you were willing to make that sacrifice.
It wasn't so much me. It's the other people involved. I don't want to take a power dump basically in someone's bedroom.
No, right.
It's like a 1907 house.
Were they ever in there watching TV?
I mean, she was usually just passed out drunk, same as us. Like we were all.
But you'd have to actually pass her to get into the bathroom.
It's not so much that you would pass her, but you're in her room specifically. Right. And if you didn't want to, you didn't have, if you tucked to the corner, you wouldn't have to see her. I'm coming in from, if her bed is on one side, the bathroom's sort of on the opposite. You're not walking through her, but you're walking in to start.
And there's probably no fan in those old bathrooms.
Fan, dude? No, just a magazine. It's a good housekeeping in my wrist.
Light a book of matches in that bitch.
Yeah. So I would just bail and go to a real grimy gas station. The most ridiculous part about this story now, this gas station, still there, still exists, has a building attached to it. They've opened a bar attached to the gas station.
Really?
Yeah.
And
those 2 things should not go together.
People go to it?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
There is a full bar attached to the gas station. You show up and pump gas, you grab a ho-ho, and you're like, I should probably get a beer while I'm here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, of all the places to put a bar, it's
I'm sure that
might as well put one at an elementary school next.
I'm sure that town is thriving.
Wilmington, North Carolina, baby.
Oh, that's in Wilmington?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah. Listen, I really do everything I can to avoid ever dumping in in a gas station or a rest stop or Lincoln Financial Field. Oh my God. Or you go to a fair and all they have is the porta potties. I mean, that you need to be in dire straits. It needs to be, end of the world apocalyptic type scenarios to run a risk like that. I really believe that.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're at a gas station bathroom and have to dump so bad that not only that is you that has to dump, but your wife has to tag in immediately afterwards? Your father-in-law has to tag in immediately afterwards.
What,
and then
you
yourself have to go back in a second round.
You ate bad food?
Well, I ate delicious food. I love this place. But there's a 50-50 chance that like you were going to have to, it gets shot out of the cannon 20 minutes after you're done.
On the way, you're telling me that this favorite place of yours, you're talking like 15, 20 minute, incubation period before liftoff?
Yeah, it has to be out immediately.
Why would you ever
emergency stop at this gas station? I go in, let it loose. Katie's yelling at me. She goes in, lets it loose. I yell at her again because I know that I'm not done. I tag back in. I was ready to use the sink. Her dad to get a key now. Too? Get out. I got to go in. Yeah.
Do you have to get a key to get in?
No, this is just the three of us, like a turnstile outside of this bathroom. Dive bathroom, by the way. Like one of the worst I've ever been in on top of the rest of this story. And we are rotating out.
It'd be the best if, like, you know how some of those bathrooms require a key and they have it on like a wooden block or something.
Yeah.
And you're just fumbling the handoff because you can't get there in time. Like a botched relay race, handing off the baton. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's where I was. I was this close to it happening just in the hallway outside this bathroom.
Oh man.
Yeah. By the this place is like my death. This place is like my death row meal. It closed in COVID. It breaks my heart. It's called Flaming Amy's Bowl. We call it Flaming Anus.
Flaming Amy's alone is ridiculous.
Well, there's a Flaming Amy's burrito barn as well. So there's two separate Flaming Amy's, but Flaming Amy's Bowl closed. It's exceptional food. Exceptional food.
I'd have just gone out back, honestly.
So we're in the car. So we were driving. Her dad was going out on a boat fishing the next day. So we wanted to scope out where he had to be. So we drove like 15 minutes down the road so we can check that out. And when we got to the gas station, it was like, yo, we all need to break
and
here.
It's just
and
like,
then we got in single stall.
One unisex bathroom. Like
it was basically like putting a toilet in a coat closet. And it wasn't exactly clean.
The worst would be like, okay, who draws the short straw? The short straw of going in last?
My father-in-law drew that short straw because he's old and he wasn't fast enough to the bathroom. I got in there first, like a real man, sprinted right past everybody.
But
I would have threw my wife into the beans and SpaghettiOs and stuff just to get to that toilet. I did not have time left. Yeah. Yeah, it had to happen. I was the most spry. I got there faster than everybody else. I lied to her so she would get up so that I could go back in.
I'm losing it over here.
Yeah.
Throw her into the Twinkies and just rip.
Yeah. I had no other choice. All
right. Oh my God.
Anyway, guys, end of the regular season. Thanks for being here.
I don't know what people expect from us today. Yo, did you wash your hands?
No chance. This was not a place where the sink was going to make anything better.
That would have been worse.
Yeah, no. There was a decent chance I needed to use that sink in a different way.
Oh my God. Straight bridesmaid style.
Yes, that's how it was. I was ready to walk out in the middle of the street and just sit down and do it.
Your wife's on the sink.
Yeah.
You're on the toilet.
Look at me.
Horrifying.
Yeah, I miss Flaming Amy's Bowl, man. It's a shame. Right. Delicious. I'm salivating thinking about how good it is.
All right. Well, Brandon Wyckoff's leaving. See you, man. Anyway, ready? Let's talk some basketball. I don't think let's talk some basketball. This is some funny stuff. I'm sorry. This is good stuff. This is too good. Like I would just keep going, but
yeah,
Boston and Memphis. I would love to see the likes to dislike ratio on this right now. Boston and Memphis. Kyle, we do need to talk about basketball. You do have live before lock and deeper dive coming up today. Like that's going to be huge. We are 100% going to get, sweeping changes to what we know right now. It's just going to happen. Like, just to give you an example, Josh, I'll get to the super chats in a second, dude. But this is what's actually important. Well, that conversation was important, but if you look at you've made me laugh before. That was probably your best work ever. Throw it into the beat.
The thing is, like, there's nothing like I'm not punching that story up.
No, I believe it. I mean, I've experienced.
I wish that you could see it all happen in real time. Like we talk about this a lot.
It's straight out of a movie, though. I mean, it's happened in movies. Yeah,
it is.
So, Philadelphia. The crazy thing about Philly is they could actually get the 3 seed, which is like if you're Philly, you want to get a matchup with the Bulls opposed to the Raptors. No doubt about it. I'm telling you right now.
Correct.
So Boston's playing Memphis, and Memphis is good even with all of their bench players. So that's actually a spot that I don't know. Like, do Embiid and Harden and these guys play today? We'll see. They're on the second of a back-to-back. Pacers second of a back-to-back. Who cares? Grizzlies second of a back-to-back. Pelicans, Spurs, Warriors, Clippers, and Kings. So those are your 8 teams that played yesterday, Josh.
Yeah. It's not fun. I think Boston's going for it. I don't think the Sixers are. I think they're going to fall. I don't think Embiid and Harden are going to play today.
I don't either. I'm just throwing out a scenario that's actually viable. Like if they did play, I wouldn't be shocked. But we'll get into these. Quick super chats here. Jeff Williams. Every other car in Wilmington has a flaming Amy's bumper sticker. Food was amazing. All right, so you got some reinforcement there. Jeff. Jeff sent it twice. Thanks, Jeff. You didn't have to do that. El Negro Loco said, "What do you do in your?" Dude, you can't. All right, well, I'll get back to that later because I can't go back to that now that I've gotten into basketball. So give me a few minutes here.
I can't relate to that one. I've never done that.
No. I don't puke from alcohol. I got an iron stomach.
I don't that night. That's a next morning hangover type thing for me. So yeah, I can't relate to that one. Actually.
The only time I have is if I forced it. And I've just done the old gag, let me do this and feel better. But I don't.
I've only ever had it where like I didn't know it was coming. It was like a volume thing. It was like, oh, the door needs to, like I just got to throw this stuff out right now. Like I don't feel bad or anything. It's just I know there's too much in my stomach, and it told me it needed to come out.
So everything with you is just spontaneous and unpredictable.
Yeah,
it certainly does. I'd love to hear one day a story. I'm sure you have like a pulling over on the side of the road to fire one off stories, but. Well,
I've thrown up on myself in my car.
Yeah, that's rough.
Right against the window, right into the door. It was awful.
So, do you think Boston goes for it today against Memphis?
Yeah, I think that they do because they can still get the 2 seed, which I don't know if anybody wants because
I really don't think they do.
The Nets, but
I really don't think they do want the 2 seed. I don't see why they would.
I just don't think that any team is going to I think everybody's just going to try. I really do. Yeah, so I think Boston's going for it. I got Tatum in for full minutes. I got Brown and Smart and Horford and Grant Williams and stuff all in for full minutes. I really like Jason Tatum today.
Sure. Listen, if they play, they're going to play, and that's all that matters. But I do think going to try is I'm just not convinced. Think of this. The difference in opponent strength across a 7-game series from Toronto to Chicago to Brooklyn is significant. Like I think Chicago's easily the matchup you want the most, but I'm 100%. I'm not saying that Toronto is a spot where you're like, shaking over, but going up against KD and Irving in the first round of the playoffs, it's bad. Now, whoever that 2 seed is, if they were to knock off Brooklyn, that's huge for whoever else has to play next, But I still do think that do you want to get the 2 seed? Sure, but that matchup is as bad as it gets for a team that clinches a 2 seed after an 82 game season. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's real bad. It's real. Well, the tricky part for the Celtics is that they can finish second, third, or fourth. So they're not really in any position to not go for it. Like they kind of just have to.
That's the point. That's a good point.
Everybody else controls them, sort of.
That's a great point. And the Sixers are 12.5-point favorites against the Pistons. So Boston's actually in a really precarious, they're in a very unenviable spot. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, because if they don't win, they're staring the Raptors in the 4-5 in the face. And that's just, it's not fun. Like playing the Raptors is going to be a chore every game. They're going to be well coached. They're ultra talented. They're going to switch everything. It's just going to suck. It's just going to suck.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to put that work in.
No, but there isn't a Kevin Durant either. That's like,
right.
Now, Alan said you guys are forgetting about home field later in home court, but later in the playoffs. I'm not forgetting about that at all. Home field or home court advantage, depending on which sport you're playing, it is so much different for single elimination like NFL game than it is for basketball. You still get 3 home games, right?
Home court advantage only matters if it goes to game 7.
It only matters if it goes to game 7. Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, sure. You get 2 home games out of the gate, which is nice because if you go up 2-0, but when you're talking about good teams, it doesn't happen very often, right? No. I would much rather be like, all right, I'll play one less home game in the second round than not make it through the first round.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's that simple. Like you have to make a decision there. And, I would much rather. Oh, do we know who on Boston can't play in Toronto?
I mean, the rumor has been Jaylen Brown. So, I've also heard it could potentially be Al Horford. That one would make less sense to me. But the rumor is Jaylen Brown.
Okay. Boston has to go for it.
Yeah.
They have to go for it on all fronts.
Correct.
God, if Milwaukee loses and Boston gets what a weird spot. All right. Who's Milwaukee got? They have, who's Milwaukee playing today? That's an early game, right? Because that's
must
why
be, I don't see it in front of me.
Milwaukee has the Cavs in Cleveland. All right. Anyway, I like Tatum today too. I just think this is kind of one of those spots where you assume everything we just said makes sense. Then you have to have some interest in Boston, even on an 11-game slate.
By the way, Horford is vaccinated.
Okay.
So it's not Horford. He said it yesterday.
He what?
He said it yesterday.
Oh, okay. What about on the other side of this one with Memphis? Like they're going to
look interesting.
There's no way Ja plays tonight.
I don't think any of the normal I don't think Bane, Brooks, Jaren. I don't think any of them play. They got nothing to play for.
And they didn't play yesterday for whatever. Right. Just so everyone knows, they're locked into the 2. No mobility there. There's no reason for these guys to play. Zero reason to play today.
No, it doesn't seem likely. So at that point, there's just a bunch of value. And look, there's going to be a never-ending supply of value today. Whether that you want to go to Tillman or Kyle Anderson, Tyus Jones, Zaire Williams, you could pretty much go to any starter you want for Memphis. I just don't find any of these guys to be all that interesting. I think Tillman and Anderson are probably your 2 best bets. Tillman's 3,500 on DK. Slow-Mo is 4,300. Slow-Mo could also sit here just because he's a vet.
But this is a spot we can't really speculate right now. You'll know what to do if everybody gets ruled out. Like
this is a deeper dive show or a deeper dive live before lock team.
Yep, and that's not any laziness or just just lack of desire to talk about this team. But there's not much to talk about. Like you want to see the starting lineup. It's an early game, right? It's a 7:00 game, and we will know who Memphis is starting before lock. That's all that matters.
Correct.
And last thing, there are 4 games at 7:00 Eastern. There is very weird. There is one game at 8:30 Eastern, one, And then every other game, 6 games are at 9:30 Eastern.
Yeah,
weird.
It's nuts. It's crazy.
Let's move on to Miami and Orlando. And yeah, that's a good point. Where is it? Brandon. We'll talk about that too with the Matisse Thybulle thing. I think the Sixers
that one doesn't matter at all.
I think it does. I think it does.
It's Matisse Thybulle, man.
Look,
I'm not saying that it like is irrelevant, but like it's Matisse Thybulle. Like he's not the swing piece. For
so is Matisse Thybulle like the sole reason that they would go for it? No, of course not. But when you factor in like, hey, we could get the 3, play the Bulls, and we'd have Thybulle. Like I think there are enough variables there to where they still have some incentive, is what I'm saying.
They want it, but like they're not making any decisions like, oh, we're not going to have Thybulle for 2 games.
Like Embiid has to play 48 minutes today because
no, none of that's happening.
Miami and Orlando. So Jimmy Butler's out, Tucker's still out, Gabe Vincent, Dwayne Dedmon questionable. Another team here in the Miami Heat where nobody's getting the 1 seed. There's nothing to play for Miami. Butler's already out. Bam. I guess you could run into a scenario here where, especially against Orlando, where like Yurtseven becomes a phenomenal play today if Dedmon also sits and maybe Bam ends up not playing, but we don't know.
Yeah, there's no way to look into Miami right now. I have no one looking good. If they have wholesale dudes out today, it'll open it up a little bit, but I didn't have anybody come out of my sim higher than 4%. Highest owned guy we have right now is 7% owned Bam on FanDuel. I don't get the sense that Bam is going to play enough to matter at basically 8K. So I find Miami to be really not fun. But if they rule out Hero and Lowry and Bam and we start getting into bigger minutes for guys, that's when you can get to guys from Miami.
You know, it'd be crazy too. Like Yurtseven's also questionable. If he's out, you could see Haslam play like 28 minutes. I wouldn't
be surprising today,
but it wouldn't be a shock at all for Haslam to play a lot of minutes today.
Nope, not at all.
It's crazy. But again, another game, pay attention to. I think the best thing we can do here is just set you up for what teams you should be looking at, what you should be paying attention to, where the value could come from. But there's no need to do a deep dive on a lot of these things. That's why we have the deeper dive. Like Orlando, I think is a little bit more clear cut. You have Wendell Carter Jr. out, Cole Anthony's out, Franz Wagner's out, Jalen Suggs is out, and then Mo Bamba's questionable. So, you know, the one thing I wanted to ask you, and this obviously against the tough Miami team, which might not be a tough defense depending on what the Heat do. This could end up being a spot where it's like, all right, cool. You know, Mo Wagner's going to play 30 minutes. But at 5,300, what does it really matter? Like you're going to have so many minimum salary guys playing 35 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I'd like Mo Wagner's the guy that you would look at first, probably. I think Mo Bamba looks decent if he's able to play, but he's also 7,200. That's a monster price tag. The guys that you would want to get to for Orlando are sort of already priced up. Now on FanDuel, Mo Wagner's 4,100 power forward eligibility. Way more interesting to me. Similar for Bamba, only 6,100. So if those guys are in, I kind of like them, but it's really difficult for me to want to get to a lot of Orlando. It's a lot of poor per minute guys. Brazdeikis, Kennedy, Hampton, Lopez, Terrence Ross, Schofield. These are all like 0.75 guys. So there's not a lot here for Orlando that jumps off the page.
I agree. So I guess the Philly game is one where I'm actually interested in. We've alluded to it already. Detroit on one side, 12.5-point dogs. They actually just beat the Sixers in Detroit. I'm serious. Like, I don't even know how much I really don't know what's going to happen here. Kate Cunningham's questionable. There's still no Marvin Bagley, Corey Joseph's out, whatever. These guys have been out. So all of the price points already reflect that. If Cade sits, Killian Hayes, you know, more usage there potentially, but he's 5K. Frank Jackson is Frank Jack. Like that's kind of the issue here is value that would have been great value, even maybe a week ago, maybe even on Friday, is just going to look mediocre, even if a lot of guys are out.
Yeah, there's only the only guy that I want to really prioritize for Detroit is Sadiq Bey on FanDuel. He's $5,200 cheaper than he is on DraftKings. He's in play no matter what today and could look even better if Cade ends up out.
Cheetah asks, is this a day where we just fade the NBA? Honestly, I think there are going to be some, see, you say yes, but I think there's going to be some good spots here. Like you just have to pay attention to what's like. You say that, but there are going to be good value spots and teams like you're going to be able to identify what teams are going to probably play. There's a team later that I have a feeling they rule everybody out, and then everyone that's active just plays like 25 minutes. But there's going to be some spots where these cheap guys are playing 40 minutes.
Well, I think that everybody should be watching Liverpool and celebrating their victory later tonight and ignoring the NBA. But if you want to play the NBA, play the night slate. Just play the 6 games that all start at 9:30 at least.
Yeah. Do you like Philly today?
So if it breaks the way that I think it's going to break, and there's going to be no Joel Embiid and no James Harden, then yeah, Tobias Harris at 6,100 on FanDuel is going to look pretty interesting. 7,300 on DK. I'll like Maxey a bit. Shake Milton becomes really, really interesting at 3,300. Paul Reed becomes interesting at 3,100. There's potentially a lot to like for Philadelphia if they don't play James Harden, Embiid, and potentially others.
I'm really curious to see if they do or not. Like I said, back to back, this is news that that first report that comes out, we should have a pretty decent idea. Should what do you think? When do you think we'll get the report? Probably around 2-3 o'clock.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. 2-3 o'clock. And then you can start making decisions based on that. But right now, the thing is though, like if Embiid and Harden are out, I don't see why you would play Harris and Maxey either.
Why would you? Yeah, I don't know. Well, Harris, maybe. I mean, maybe he wants to try to get right, but like, I think you just always sort of play young guys if you can.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe. It's not like they're fully punting. Look, if James Harden or Joel Embiid are injured in any way, the Philadelphia 76ers have 0% chance to win anything of value.
Correct.
You can get by without one of those other idiots.
Yeah, maybe you do play Maxey and just let him go off like he does every time Embiid or Harden on the floor.
You know, you keep somebody out there that can dictate the offense. You know, you can still have an outside chance to win.
Yeah, if Embiid and Harden are out and Maxey is playing and starting, and we just assume he gets his full run, 6,800 on DraftKings is a fantastic price against Detroit. Like, excellent. He's
fantastic.
He's excellent with those guys off the floor, and he's not going to hold back. I mean, honestly, I'd prefer him over Harris at 7,300. Harris is no longer like Harris still can produce, but Maxey is the one that is the ball handler that will be the primary playmaker and the guy jacking up 10 threes in a game like this. You know, he becomes the number one on this team. We've seen that.
Oh, for sure. Big time.
So yeah, I like it. We just have, again, pay attention. That's a big spot right there.
Yeah.
If you're looking at the next one, you have Toronto and the New York Knicks. OG Anunoby's questionable. Van Vliet's expected to play. Toronto can't move. They can't move in the division or in the conference, sorry, because the Sixers won yesterday. They actually had a shot to get to the 4, but it was an outside shot. Philly wasn't losing to both Indy and Detroit.
No.
I actually was surprised that Van Vliet was probable.
Same, but it is Toronto, so all of their surprises are usually, hey, this guy's going to play 44 minutes. Look, if these guys are playing, even with nothing to play for, I'm still willing to take shots at Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Barnes, Trent, Anunoby. They just don't ever seem like the team that's going to sit their dudes or not play them big minutes. So if you think they're going to play north of 30, then I think Toronto looks okay.
Yeah. I just have no idea.
Right. They're the tricky spot. What you really want to see for Toronto is that everybody's out. You want to see that they sat Siakam, VanVleet, Barnes, Trent, and Anunoby. And then at that point, you're playing a lot of Toronto.
A lot of, Chris Boucher for sure.
Thad Young for sure.
Thad Young be another one. Because a lot of these guys off the bench are decent per minute producers to begin with.
Yeah. Even like Kem Birch and Malachi Flynn are both like north of 0.8 fantasy point per minute guys as baselines. Like that's not too bad.
No. And look, the Knicks are already without Julius Randle. They're already without RJ Barrett. Mitchell Robinson's questionable. This is not the same team. This is another hard one to figure out because Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride are also questionable. So if all of those guys sit, then what are we looking at? Like it might just be an Emmanuel Quickley day where he plays 38 minutes.
Yeah, Toppin, Burks, and Quickly are pulling a bunch of ownership across FanDuel and DraftKings, and I think that makes sense. I have all three of those guys in for 30 minutes or more. Toppin for 34, Burks for 34. Those guys look good. We're getting real NBA players, 0.9 to 0.95 fantasy point per minute guys at a minimum, maybe with increased usage. We're talking like fantasy point per minute guys playing 30 minutes. Those are the guys you kind of got to go after on a day like today. They're going to fill out your roster pretty well. And it's not like they're going to just go out there and play 20 minutes. Tibbs is going to play those dudes like starters.
I love Emmanuel Quickly. I really do. Like, I think he's
good.
I think he needs to start at the point next year. They have to give, instead of bringing in another Kemba or Derrick Rose, who are literally on their last leg. Like,
what about Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, right. Like, would it shock you though? They always bring in these older guards. You got a guy waiting in the wings and Emmanuel Quickly. Like, sure, you want to make him a sixth man and play him, whatever, play him 31 minutes off the bench then. But I don't understand why a guy like Quickly isn't getting more opportunities to run an offense. Like, well, this is the team with the lowest assist rate in the league. And it's because you've got guys like Barrett and Burks and Fournier out there. Your best playmakers, Julius Randle.
Yep, it's not great, but that's Tibbs for you. That's why it's happening.
All I'm saying is Quickly's a pretty decent basketball player, and
he is.
They need to figure out how to get him some more opportunities. But
100% agree. Wildly underrated.
He is. I like him a lot today. He's my favorite player from the Knicks. All right.
Mine's Toppin, but I also like Quickly a lot.
Chicago and Minnesota, 229 total, Bulls 7.5 points. And if you guys are wondering why I haven't been talking about these spreads for the most part, it's because right now, who the hell knows? Like, if you think you have a good lean on some of these games, as far as injuries go, you should be betting them now if you think the line isn't signifying whether, like, if these guys are going to end up being out. It's risky business, but you can you could legit get 10-point swings today, Josh, depending on what happens.
Yeah, this could break big time in weird ways.
So the reason I said this one is because Chicago already is without. They already ruled out DeRozan, Vooch, Levine, Caruso, Kobe White's doubtful. So this is one of the few where we actually know that none of these starters are playing.
Yeah, that opens things up quite a bit for Chicago. The question then becomes, what do they do with the high usage guy, or like, where does the usage go? Does Dosunmu fall into a bunch of it? Like, he pretty quickly becomes the most interesting piece here. We've seen him take on additional usage and playmaking when all of these guys have been out in the past. So he's pulling massive ownership, high 30s into the 40s on DraftKings. I think it's mostly warranted. He's 3,900 on both sides, just very easy to get to. But you can get to most of the guys that are going to start for Chicago. Patrick Williams is 4,100. Javonte Green is 3,200. Troy Brown is 3,300. Tristan Thompson is 3,100. It's just a lot of very, very low price value that becomes incredibly easy to get to. And Minnesota going to be without a couple guys as well. So this is a great spot to grab the new starters for the Bulls.
But Dosunmu far and away the best option, right? Like,
yeah, as long as we assume that he just plays big minutes, then yes.
Yeah,
I gave him 33, at which point he looks incredible.
Incredible. Because this kind of looks like the Wizards that we've been dealing with recently, where you got a bunch of guys in like the 3 and 4, really 3K range with these guys, and none of them are particularly good, and they're just kind of all viable on a regular slate. Like Troy Brown, Javonte Green, Thompson, Patrick Williams. You have no idea which one of these guys is going to actually, take on a heavier role as far as usage goes. Dosunmu's that one guy where you feel pretty confident that what's going on.
Liverpool's lineup got released.
Oh, like as a playmaker and all that, Dosunmu is just the one that you can have the most confidence in for sure. What about Minnesota? No Karl Anthony Towns. Naz Reid dude, whenever you get the Naz Reid starts, especially D'Angelo Russell might not play today either. Naz Reid's going up against like a literal, skeleton crew in Chicago. Yeah. I totally get the ownership and I agree with it.
Yeah, I mean, Naz Reid's actually good, at least from an offensive standpoint. He's a 1.1 fantasy point per minute guy. I got him in for 28 minutes here. He's 3,500 on FanDuel, so the flat minimum. He's 3,300 on DraftKings and also has power forward eligibility. He's one of the easiest plays to get to. One of the first guys you should be getting to, assuming that he is the starting center for Minnesota today. If Edwards plays, I'm happy to get there. He's just going to shoot a ton, especially with Cat out, especially if Russell ends up out. Minnesota has nothing to play for, so maybe they sit a bunch of guys. Who the hell knows? But I think Reed, no matter what, is primed and ready. And if Edwards plays, I'm happy to go there because I think he might shoot 100 times.
For sure. Richie Small said, is this a slate where we're going to end up leaving a bunch of salary on the table? It's actually a really good question because I don't know. I have no idea, Josh. If
a lot, no. More than normal, yes.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
It's still the NBA. It's different.
It's definitely different. But I'm saying if Jokic, Doncic, Embiid, and Murray and all of these, and Harden and maybe Siakam and Morant and all these guys end up not playing, it is definitely possible that you don't have a player above like 8K in your lineup. Yeah,
that's if the high price guys start getting ruled out, that's when you'll start seeing the heavy salary left out.
Yeah. Well, only because a $3,500 or $3,300 Naz Reid that gets maybe 32 minutes is just going to be more valuable than a lot of these mid-range guys today. It's just the way it is. Yeah. Opportunities, everything in basketball, especially at the center position.
Absolutely.
All right. Talk to me about Minnesota outside of Naz Reid. Like, is there anything else, or are we just waiting on Russ and Bev?
We got to wait on the Russell Beverly news. Like, if those guys both end up out, then Malik Beasley becomes very interesting. I think if Edwards is in, he looks good. You're clearly going to have enough money for him. Like, I don't really have a ton of interest going to Nathan Knight or Monroe as like a backup. It's just, there's basically no reason to play backups today. You're just going to have so many minutes coming out of starters. So it's Naz Reid, assuming he starts at center, Edwards, assuming he plays. And then if Russell and or Beverly are out and Beasley's going to move into that starting lineup and play 30 minutes, it's Beasley.
So up next, you've got the Lakers and the Denver Nuggets. Before we do though, shout out to our sponsor, Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. I know you guys have probably done this already. If you weren't with Yahoo Fantasy, but you're watching our shows, it's the best promo out there that you're going to find. You sign up using the link in the description or the one that Jordan's about to throw in the chat right now. And when you sign up using that, you got to use the link. You get a free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum, $90 value, everything on the site, every single sport, whether it's football. Well, it's not there right now, but baseball's underway, basketball, MMA. You had a big UFC card yesterday. NASCAR, PGA, got the Masters final round, like esports, every single thing, all of our tools, all the best tools out there that you're going to find, built by Alex Baker, Awesemo himself, and managed by some of the best DFS players out there. It's all free. Just sign up. I think you have to deposit $10, but then Yahoo will give you $10 back in free play. So sign up, deposit $10. They'll give you 10 back. You got to enter a paid contest as well, and then we'll hit you up. We'll get you into our Discord. We'll get you access to all of our tools. And Fantasy Cruncher is an add-on because we host it, but it's not our product. You can get that with that free month as well. So it's not free, but the month and everything else on top of it is free. And some great contests over there at Yahoo Fantasy Sports too. Great prize payout or prize structures, payout structures, lowest management fee rake in the industry. So check it out. Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, sponsor of the Strategy Show. It's crazy that Taylor Horton talk. It's not crazy, but even though his prices come up, what's up? Oh, did I? I missed one. You're right. Thank you, sir. Sacramento and Phoenix. Sacramento, no injury report yet, Josh. Second of a back-to-back. What do we do?
I mean, I assume they're just playing their normal guys the same way they've been. Like, they've been out for a while. And if that's the case, like, these guys are all already priced where they should be. So the highest owned guy in this game is Davion Mitchell on FanDuel at 7%. The second highest guy is Davion Mitchell on DraftKings at 3%. All that's telling you is you basically aren't playing the Sacramento Kings unless they start sitting a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, and I think similarly, right now at least, I really don't want to play any Phoenix Suns. I know they're getting a little bit of ownership, right? Like Ayton's still pretty cheap, but I don't see any way the Phoenix Suns end up playing their starters today. Didn't they play yesterday? No, they didn't. I'm sorry, they didn't play yesterday. But
I'm not going to be surprised if they play. But it's not like they're going out and Chris Paul's playing 34 minutes today. That's just not happening.
Right. I mean, that's a bigger concern than anything is you play these guys and they just see all limited run, right?
That is my expectation for Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, against Utah, they ended up playing big minutes. They got that win against the Jazz just 2 days ago, which they haven't needed to play, but maybe they do. Maybe, you know what? You're probably right. And we get like all-star game rotations.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting. Like I gave Booker 38 and 30, Bridges 30, Chris Paul 28. And honestly, if they're playing that amount of minutes, they're okay plays today because we have so much going around. Yeah, and like they're more than capable of going for 45 or 50 fantasy points today, and that'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. And it's going to be insanely easy to get to Devin Booker at his price. Like super. So it's going to be easy to get to anybody on this slate. Literally
there's not a problematic price tag anywhere.
No. Not a single one. And if you look at the Lakers in Denver, because let's just move to that. I think we can move to that game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
If you look at Lakers in Denver, Taylor Horton-Tucker just still getting a ton of love today. Yep. And I think rightfully so. Now on the Denver side, Jokic, Barton, Aaron Gordon, they're all questionable. Another spot where I don't see the point of them playing, but who knows? They might. If Horton-Tucker, there's no reason he wouldn't be, is starting again and is expected.
By the way, Nuggets are playing.
Why?
They're not locked into anything. They're in between the 5 and 6.
Oh,
they're tied with the Jazz. Yeah, Nuggets are playing. I'd be shocked if the Nuggets guys don't play.
Really though? I wouldn't be shocked.
I would. Jokic going for an MVP too. He's not sitting in the final game of the regular season.
Well, then you'd say the same thing about Embiid. Embiid's been fully healthy.
The way that those two gentlemen operate are a little bit different.
I don't know. I mean, Embiid's missed like 2 of the last 50 games or something that they've played.
Is that true?
I don't know. I'm just honestly
seems like completely untrue. I mean, Jokic doesn't miss ever at all, no matter what.
I'm not saying healthy. They're not different in that respect. I am saying
you're actually right. He has not missed a lot of time as of late.
No, the only time he really missed games was when he had a really bad case of COVID. Like that was it all season long. Other than that, it would have just been like a back-to-back or something. But no, he's missed 2 games, Josh, since December 15th.
Yeah, that's good.
Right?
Seems like a good day to get him rest.
Oh, yeah. I'm just all I'm saying is if Embiid is given the chance to play, I know him. He's going to want to play.
I completely agree with you there.
Yeah. Like if he makes the decisions, he's out there. Dude dropped 41 and 20 yesterday and was out there with like a minute left. I knew it. I know it's because they wanted to get him a 40-20, another 40-20 game. But
for sure. And look, that's another reason why I don't think that he's playing. They played yesterday. Like it's way different for Embiid to sit on the back-to-back.
I agree.
Jokic to sit.
Do people realize how lucky we are that you have an MVP race that where in any other year, like Giannis or Embiid or Jokic would have been the clear MVP a month ago?
Well, we have that already. It's been that the entire time.
See, I'm not getting it. We really don't have time for that, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. Like Joel Embiid,
I do, but like people are making it up. We've had this clear race the entire time. People just aren't saying it like that.
No, that's not true. The entire time.
I mean, it's been painfully obvious to me the entire time that it's Jokic. I don't know what else he could possibly have done in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
He's been worth 21 wins at dunks and threes. That's insanity.
Joel Embiid's going to average more points in a season than Shaq ever did, right? He's going to, like, on a point per game basis, you look at the amount what centers have averaged his scoring. It is remarkable. So, like, of course, Jokic has the, what is it, like 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, 3,000, 1,500, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. What I'm saying is that Joel Embiid, you look at what he's done and put together this year, it's crazy because any other year he would have won the MVP. That's credit to Nikola Jokic. All I'm saying is that any other season, Joel Embiid is your MVP, and you're not even having questions about it.
I'm still having questions.
I don't think you would.
I would.
Okay. like if he did this last year, 2 years ago?
I don't think that Giannis is all that different than Embiid this season.
Okay. All right. Either way, it's not even an important conversation at all.
No, it should just be Jokic in a runaway.
Do you want to get to anything outside of I'm not indulged. You're the one that needs to get out of here by a certain time. So is there I would absolutely.
I can't help myself sometimes.
But I'm trying
Taylor Horton Tucker obviously looks exceptional. So does Malik.
Courteous.
So does Malik Monk. 5,800 on FanDuel, 6,600 on DraftKings. Those are the two guys you want from the Lakers more than anything else.
Rosa Music, did I see your super chat? No, I didn't. Let me see. Early slate DK tiers.
No idea.
Man. Kill
no
it.
idea. Can we refund
Porter
that?
Jr., Halliburton, Garland, or Ball? Dude, I haven't looked at the early slate. I haven't looked at the early slate. Dude, I know we have like tiers content. I just don't. I'm sorry, dude. I don't know. I
didn't prepare the early slate.
Me neither. I wish I could help you, but because you super chatted, but I don't know, man. All right. Anybody else you assume Denver plays. If that's the case, then Jokic has to be the best play on the slate, in your opinion.
40% owned on both sites. Looks incredible. I prefer Luka to Jokic because of positionality and a better price on at least one site. And, Jokic just gets stuck in center. But yeah, we have all the money in the world to pay up for the MVP of the league in a game that I think they want to try to win and improve their seed. And if they do, that's great. If they can end up being the 5 seed and the Jazz end up losing, I think that's okay with them. So go Jokic. If you want to get to like Barton or Gordon, I think it's okay. Those prices are sort of where they're supposed to be, though.
There's like 51% total ownership on Denver and 48 is Jokic.
Yeah, just load up on Jokic. I mean, you have all the money in the world to get him.
It's really crazy. We don't have free content today. Every Sunday we don't, but every other day, like Friday, we had so much free content. Take advantage if you're not an Awesemo sub yet. If you want to get in, I always say, just sometimes people, I know how it is. They feel like they paid for content and a site did them dirty or rubbed them the wrong way. I feel confident you won't have that experience with Awesemo. Otherwise I wouldn't talk about this stuff. I've told you a million times, I did a sales job for something that I was horrible at because it was like legitimately not a good product. And I had a tough time telling people like, hey, this is a good product, telling like an old, couldn't do it. But if that's how you feel, right, and you're skeptical, you just live life as a skeptic, I get that. Well, for $1, you can get the MLB Express Pass by using the promo code FASTBALL, or just go to awesemo.com/promos and click the button. And then even if you feel burned afterwards, it won't matter because you spent $1. You won't, but even if you did, it's a single $1. Promo code FASTBALL gets you MLB Express Pass weekly, includes our player rankings, ownership rankings, the lineup builder, our expert Discord chat, and some other stuff as well. Just click the link in the description down below, or Jordan can throw that in to the premium, or to the YouTube chat as well. But yeah, great way to get started with baseball. If you wanted to do like a full month, you could do that too. There's a million different offerings. We have one sport, any sport, every sport for a year, week, month, express, full out, whatever, awesemo.com/join. But Fastball will get you the Express Pass for MLB for $1 single. All right. Let's talk about OKC and the Clippers then. What in the world do we do with OKC at this point? Jalen Horton's $7K and he's still getting a ton of ownership.
Well, yeah, because they're going to play 5 guys 40 minutes today or more. Like I've got Horde in for 42, Kaladzikis in for 42, Simpson in for 42, Justin Gaethje in for 40 or whatever the hell his name is. Like you just got to play the 6 guys from Oklahoma City that are going to actually play, or 5 guys that are going to actually play. Jam in Horde, Kaladzikis, Simpson, Krejci, Frazier. Just play them. You got to play them.
And there's no way the Clippers are going to play these starters.
It doesn't matter.
But they're not gonna anyway. I'm saying it makes it.
They can play the NBA All-Star team. It doesn't make a difference. These guys are playing 40 minutes.
Well, I disagree. Jalen Horde on DraftKings is $7,000. So I will happily take a better matchup against
He's
the
65% owned, man. You could put him. It doesn't matter who they're playing. He's going to be like the most owned guy on the slate, no matter what.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. We're playing these guys blindly. Matchup doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is when he was 4,000, it would at ownership at this point. I mean, 6,500 on Jalen Horde at $7,000 is one of the most insane things I've ever seen for an NBA DFS slate.
It's nuts. 7K, and he was my number one contender.
It's nuts. You're right. Just play them all.
It's insane.
Play them all. Do what you have to do. Call it a day.
Don't play Lindy Waters. Probably don't play Roby.
The Clippers, though, the thing about the Clippers is even if they rule out some of these starters, they're still not going to be the same value that we had with some of these other teams.
No, I mean, Terrence Mann will jump out 4,900 on FanDuel, 4,700 on DraftKings. He's going to take a lot of this. Brandon Boston is the flat 3K on DK. You don't need that additional salary, but he becomes a really nice point per dollar play. Kennard probably fixing to get a usage bump and a minutes bump. They are the three guys that I would prioritize coming out of the Clippers. If you think that Hartenstein or Zubats is going to get more minutes than the other, maybe you pick the other one. But I think it's Mann, Kennard, and Boston as my primaries.
So 8 down, 3 to go. I got to say, I think we're doing an okay job given the circumstances here. Kind of just laying the groundwork, Josh. But
I think the first 15 minutes of the show was the best 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's obvious.
Sure.
But we've tied it in.
We have.
I wouldn't hate a few more likes, though, right? I mean, Sunday morning.
Same. I gave you guys a pretty good taking a dump story. It can't get better than 102.
Yeah, we got 103 likes now, 400 people watching. I mean, if you forgot, it's fine. As we say, absolve yourself of those sins. Wash yourselves clean. Take that single second, hit that thumbs up if you enjoy this type of stuff. Want to help support us here. All right. San Antonio Spurs, Dallas Mavericks, 224.5 total. Spurs, 10-point dogs. They are, I believe, on the second of a back-to-back. I'm just it gets so mixed up with all this stuff at the end of the season, right? They played yesterday. Yeah, they did.
Yes.
They're on the second of a back-to-back. So I don't know. It seems unlikely that DeJounte Murray plays today, but who knows? He's actually been out with an illness. That's not like a tanking situation or no reason to play him. He's actually been out with illness.
Yep, he has, which is not fun for them, I guess. But I don't like the San Antonio team basically at all. Trey Jones, all right option. I got him in for 33 minutes, but when I look at San Antonio, I don't see a team that I anticipate getting a lot of. They might be my least favorite team on the slate.
If you look at yesterday, it's like, okay, cool. A lot of these guys, Keldon Johnson, Murray, Jakob Poeltl, Vassell, they were all out. But still, Bates Diop only played 22 minutes as a starter. Collins, 22 minutes. Richardson, 22 minutes. Yeah. That does us no good today.
No, none at all. They're really, really just not a priority to me. Not that I see, at least.
You think Luka comes out and gets his full run today with them?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, I have him. That's how I have him in as of right now. When I look at Dallas, we see like he came out of my sim 44% of the time on FanDuel, 30% on DraftKings. I think he looks just like Jokic, maybe slightly better depending on positions and stuff. But I think he's playing. I think he's likely to play full run. The Mavs have a chance to get the 3 seed, so they're trying to win. So I just assume that Luka goes out and absolutely destroys San Antonio.
I don't see why he wouldn't. But similar to the Denver Nuggets, outside of Luka, it's hard to say that anyone's really going to be of value.
I don't see anybody else here for Dallas that I would want to get to. You know, like if you get some shares of Brunson, it's not a problem. You know, he's going to be out there, but these guys are priced where they're supposed to be.
Now, the Utah-Portland game, Portland's it's amazing what this team has done. Utah's 17-point road favorites. So, I think the easiest bet I've made all season, and I know hindsight is 20/20, right? So it could have gone a million different directions, but was Dallas -6 in the first quarter last game against Portland. They scored 13 points.
Oh my God, they're so bad.
They scored 13 points, dude. There was a team that night, I think, that scored 8 points in the first quarter. I can't remember who it was, but that was pretty rough too.
God, I was live for it. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, Portland is dreadful at this point. And the Jazz, as you were saying, them and the Nuggets, this is one of those reasons I actually wonder if Jokic and these guys get full run, because the Jazz are not losing to the Blazers.
You would think. I think Donovan Mitchell looks good today, 8,200, 8,400. If you want to go to Gobert, he should probably have a decent day against Drew Eubanks or
the
whatever
Pistons
else.
Scored 8 points in the first quarter, Josh.
There you go.
So,
they were missing over and over and over again.
They were outscored 38. Dude, 8 points in 12 minutes.
It's hard.
Sorry, go ahead.
Played Mitchell and Gobert. That's the only two guys that I'm really looking at here. My assumption is that they beat the living piss out of Portland.
Beat the stuffing out of them. Yeah.
It's going to be bad. Portland's bad. They might be the worst team ever.
I honestly think Denver might just sit these guys.
I don't think so.
I think they might.
I mean, you might see them not play the second half. If they look at the scoreboard and Utah's up by 44.
That's possible too. That's very possible.
They're starting the game. Full stop. Starting the game.
A little concerning though when you think about it. I don't know. I just let me tell you this much. This is why I say that, right? Not just talking out of my ass here. You might not have Eubanks today either, which honestly, it doesn't. None of this matters.
No,
none of this matters.
No, it doesn't. Sure don't.
All right. The amount, or the lack of talent on this team. They scored 78 points last game. Ellaby, Eubanks, Keon Johnson, Brandon Williams, Greg Brown. I mean, that's your starting lineup. That is your starting lineup. They shot 37%. Okay. Atrocious basketball team. They want to lose games. Utah losing this would be, even if Utah sat some of their starters, which I don't think they will, would be one of the most insane experiences ever. So
they can sit all of their starters and be 10-point favorites.
They would still be at least touchdown favorites on the road.
Yep. I
want nothing to do with Portland though.
No, I don't mind Eubanks on FanDuel. He's 5,800 power forward center if he's playing. If Portland happens to rule out a bunch of guys and they've got 7, you're probably a little bit more interested in Portland just from a minutes perspective. But no, there are no priorities on the Blazers.
I still don't think I would be. Wait, you said if who ruled out their starters?
If Portland rules out a bunch of dudes and they're down to Oklahoma City type numbers, then that you work them back into play because it might just be too many minutes, but I don't expect anything for Portland. And I think they look really bad.
Okay. Well, then let's wrap this one up, Josh.
Let's do it.
Last up on the list, Golden State Warriors, New Orleans Pelicans. Appreciate you guys hanging with us all regular season too. It's been a fun time, man. It's been a blast. Josh doesn't think so. I do. I love doing this stuff. I mean, there are a few things you'd rather be doing. Just admit it as far as a job goes.
Oh, this is about as other than being retired, this is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
Porn star would be fun, stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd like to host a travel food show. That would be pretty fun.
We had Flame and Amy's.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got one game to go. And then tomorrow, nothing. And then you got some play-in games. But today you've got a lot of other stuff coming up. MLB Live Before Lock at 11:45. Yeah, I don't know. No one cares about that.
Yeah, no, it's only the biggest sporting event going today.
I didn't say no. I didn't say no one cares about MLB. I was talking to Josh about soccer, or you probably call it football.
No, I call it soccer.
MLB Live Before Lock again at 5:00 with Eric and Eitan Shander. And that's NBA. Sorry, NBA Live. Dude, I don't even know. Hold on. Let me see. We got NBA deeper dive. Yeah. Okay. That's at 5 with Eitan and Eric. Then NBA live before lock with Emac and Terry. Okay. MLB's at 11:45. It's Sunday. So you get those 1 p.m. starts. Got it. All right. And last thing, Jordan, can you just do me a quick favor? Throw it up on the screen for anyone that hasn't yet been involved. Or, oh, no, wait, I'm not doing the MVP thing. It's the Best Bets Discord. Okay. Yeah. Premium betting picks, baby. We got the subscription. If you haven't gotten in, it's a perfect time to do it. Click below to subscribe to our Betting Picks Discord channel. You got Alex Baker, Ben Rasa, Steve Buzzard. You might know him as the Colts, using Awesemo's industry-leading projection models to identify the best bets available in basketball, hockey, college basketball. Well, we got to adjust that. But baseball, let's swap in baseball. I know you got a good MMA, all of that stuff. Check it out. Definitely going to be worth your while. Click the link, check it out. And if you want a free preview of our best bets, follow our @AwesemoBets Twitter and turn on notifications, as we'll be posting one free premium bet every day. That's the Best Bets Discord. All right, let's wrap it, man. Golden State, Nolans, Pelicans. Talk to me, man. Golden State today, second of a back-to-back. Any chance that the Warriors are resting everybody?
I mean, I don't think Otto Porter plays. I don't think Andre Iguodala plays. I don't think Klay Thompson plays. Wouldn't surprise me if Draymond didn't play, but I think Jordan Poole is going to be out there gunning. So I'm more than okay going to Poole. We just have to pay attention to it as a team that we don't know a lot about. Now they want to, like, they have something to play for. They're not set in seeding, but these guys haven't played back-to-backs the entire time, and there's no way that they're going to just start doing that now. So
right. Why would it change today?
It's not.
Plus, they're still 5-point road favorites. Like, they can still get this win, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, because the Pelicans aren't playing anybody.
That's the thing. So with the Pelicans, and I agree with Jordan Poole. I mean, I think even at his price point, you could see Draymond and Klay and Curry's already out. If that's the case, Poole plays big minutes and has a good matchup, I'm perfectly fine with that. Plus, it's also possible that 8,600 is going to be going to look like 6,000 by the time we get all of that value that opens up. All right. New Orleans Pelicans. Brandon Ingram. Do you think he plays today? Second of a back-to-back. He was out yesterday. Do you think all these guys sit?
I think they all sit. No McCollum, no Jones, no Ingram, no Joe Val, no Larry Nance. They have nothing to play for. They're locked in. I think these guys are all going to sit and get prepped for their first play-in game. So it's going to be fire up your Willie Hernangomez. He's 5,500 on FanDuel, 4,300 on DraftKings. Fire up Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall. Trey Murphy's probably going to be all right as an option. There's going to be a lot to like here for the Pelicans, assuming everybody ends up out, like I think.
Dude, Alvarado is going to crush today. It's coming.
He's a fun dude to watch play.
And Willie Hernangomez. Oh, if you come out and you get 30 minutes from Willie, we know what he does when he starts.
If he comes out and plays 24 minutes, he's a good value at 4,300. Everything above that's a bonus.
Agreed. You might be.
I got him in for 30. So,
do you?
Yeah.
You might be finding yourself with a lot of lineups that have Naz Reid, Hernangomez, and then everything else.
Well, don't forget, like, you still have Jokic potentially at center. So, like, center's crazy today.
That's gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
Because center value is usually at a premium, and it's usually like you want to get to those guys, but you're gonna have to make some decisions. Anyway, it's been a fun season, man.
Another one in the books. Time for you and I to own the playoffs.
Oh, I can't wait. We had a blast last year.
No, I can't wait. It's going to be fun.
We're going to hang around and watch some games. Had some fun for sure.
Knock a couple back.
Oh, yeah. Knock more than a couple back.
Yep.
And have a great time. Jordan will hang with us. We'll just throw producer cam up afterwards and just like Jordan can chill afterwards with us if he wants. If he doesn't want to, that's fine. But he's in. I know he's in. Anyway, go enjoy the game, man. Go enjoy the game. Baby.
Let's go Reds.
You guys stick around. Coming up just a little bit. You've got MLB Live Before Lock. All of our NBA content coming up. Deeper Dive Live Before Lock in a little bit. You guys are the best. Appreciate you. We'll see you back here for NBA action. Strategy show starts again on Tuesday morning. Until then, peace.